Hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm Bree, and you may, if you're not new here, notice that this looks a little different. I do have a video coming up because I changed our bedroom from in here into the other room and then moved my office into here because we have some neighbors that make a lot of noise and it was really hard to sleep. So you'll see that video coming out soon, but this video is going to be the end of the year book tag. I'm just going to talk through my reading plans and everything for the end of the year. I wanted to go through the questions on the book tag. I think this was originally done by Ariel Bassett, and I also want to talk through some of the videos that I made previously, like my fall TBR and my 22 books to read in 2022, and just talk about progress and if I'm going to complete those. So I have read a total of, I think, 106 books now, roughly, maybe a little less, but my goal was originally 50 books, and then I went way beyond that, and I actually read 100 books, and I've just been happy that I even reached 100. That's been a huge milestone for me. So I don't really have a goal to read X amount of books by the end of the year. I feel like the 100 is just what I'm happy with, and so anything I read now, it just feels like fun extras. So I don't really have a goal that I'm going for at this point, but I do have the two TBRs that I made that I want to talk about. So I think the first one I want to talk about is the 22 books to read in 2022. So I'll put a graphic up here of the pictures of the books, and I'll mark off what I have already read. And I'm also going to mark out the ones that I don't think I'm interested in anymore or going to read, really, because when I made that list, I was still trying to read a lot of high fantasy, and I've just found that that's not for me anymore. And so a lot of those I'm not interested in, at least right now. Maybe one day I'll come back to it, but for now I am not interested in those. So out of those, I have left 4 books that I want to read. The first one is The Year of the Witching by Alexis Henderson. I purposely kept this until this time of year because I thought it would be perfect to read at the end of the year. And it's also one of my 5-star predictions, so I will be having a video of that soon, and this is going to be one of the books that I read in there. This is kind of like a haunting witch story set back around Salem times, I think, but I think it's a like made up land. And then I have Legend Board by Tracy Deonn. This is a YA fantasy like Arthurian retelling, and I just haven't got to it because I'm not a big YA fantasy reader, but there has been a couple that pique my interest, and this is one of them, and I'm still really interested in it, and I've heard such good things. I did start it. I got to page 50, but I've been in a reading slump, and I just wasn't feeling this YA fantasy at the moment, so I put it down, but it has nothing to do with the book, just me in a reading slump. So I want to get to that one still. And then this one is Skin of the Sea by Natasha Bowen. I like mermaid stories, and I just think that this one sounds really cool and interesting, and so it was one that I picked up at the beginning of the year that I'm still definitely interested in. And again, it's a YA fantasy, so hopefully I'll get to that one. And then I had The Perfect Stranger by Megan Miranda. Now this isn't the one I would pick out now if I were to choose which Megan Miranda to read, so I may end up reading either Such a Quiet Place or The Last to Vanish because those sound more interesting to me, but this one was the one I put on my TBR. So, and Megan Miranda's aren't too long, and I feel like I read the last one in October, and it was like kind of the perfect time to read it. So I think I definitely still want to give this a try. Her thrillers are more of the thrillers that I seem to gravitate towards. I think I gave All the Missing Girls like 4 stars, or 3, I can't remember. They're just like easy to get through thrillers for me. So those are the 4 books for my 2022 books to read in 2022. On to my fall TBR. So I kind of made the TBR through the end of the year, and I have, how many? I have 6 books left on my fall, oh my gosh, I have 6 books left on my fall TBR, and I have made a good amount of progress. I've said this before, but I'm such a mood reader that I tend to not actually get through a lot of the books that I say I'm going to because my mood changes, but these are all the books that I still want to get to. So the first one is Middle Game by Shauna McGuire. This is also part of the 5-star predictions video I want to do. So I will be getting to that for sure. And then I also have Where the Drowned Girls Go and Across the Green Grass Fields. I want to read one each month. So I'll read one this month and one in December for catching up so that when the new book comes out in January, I will be able to read it. And this has been a new favorite series this year, so I definitely will be getting to those. Then I have Daisy Darker by Alice Feeney. This one is a video I want to do with Agatha Christie retellings, and I hopefully will get to it this year. I've been wanting to do it this year, but for some reason I just keep putting it off. It just seems like one that I don't know why, but I just keep not picking up. But I have heard amazing things about this, so I have high hopes for it, and I hopefully will get to that in December. Then I have a thriller horror kind of, Moon of the Crusted Snow by Wabesha Grice, and this is kind of a slow, like, I think it is a slow horror about like apocalypse and what this community has to do to survive, and I've heard really good things, and it's short, so I want to get to this in November, because if you don't know, the Skoden readathon by Kim from Native Lady, I can never get this right, Native Lady Book Warrior, her YouTube channel, she's hosting the Skoden readathon, which is about reading Indigenous authors, and so this is one that I want to get to read this month. I'm loosely participating. I kind of loosely participated in Blackathon, but I haven't really mentioned them anywhere because I've been struggling with readathons and keeping up with everything, and I just think that readathons, I need to figure out how I want to do them for next year, because I like participating, but then sometimes I get overwhelmed and things like that, so I'm just trying to find my sweet spot. But I've had that on my TBR, and I thought this would be like the perfect month, because I also thought it would be great for when the snow's out. And the last one is The Lighthouse Witches by CJ Cook. This one has recently added to my TBR since I think August or something, but it's one that I just really think I'm gonna love, and so I really want to get to it. I just didn't pick it up in October because I was reading other things, so it's one that I hope to get to very soon. So these are all the ones for the fall TBR that I still hope to get to. And then I have two, because if you may know, I participate in Kayla from Books and Lala's Literally Dead book club, and I still have to read You're Invited, which was the October pick. I'm always reading them like later. I don't know why. I just don't read them right away, so I want to still get to that one. And then the November, which is the last pick of the year, is The House of Hunger, and I'm really excited about this by Alexis Henderson, who also wrote Year of the Witching, so I hope to read both of her books, and I've heard also really good reviews on this as well, so super excited to get to that. So now let's get into the actual book tags. So let me pull them up here. Are there any books you started this year that you need to finish? So I do have two of those. Currently in the middle of The Hollow of Fear by Sherry Thomas. I'm listening to this on the car ride to work and back, and so I should be able to finish it this month, but it is just one that I'm in the middle of. I have about 100 pages left, and this is a Sherlock Holmes retelling, kind of, where Sherlock Holmes is actually a woman and she disguises herself and she is solving mysteries. So this is the third in the series. The first one is called A Study in Scarlet Women. I also just started on page 50 of Other Birds by Sarah Addison Allen, and this is magical realism, and I think it's got somewhat of a mystery, but I think it's actually more supposed to be just like found family vibes is what I'm getting from it so far. But I right now don't know how I feel about it. I'm feeling just okay about it, so hopefully I will finish this, but we'll see. It's not very long, so my plan is to finish it, and I am kind of enjoying it so far. I just don't really have any thoughts, and I'm not like swept up in the story just yet. So, do you have an autumnal book to transition you into the end of the year? I feel like Daisy Darker would be a good one, because it feels, for some reason, somewhat fall, somewhat winter to me, and I think because it's on like the cliffs and it'd be cold and windy, that sounds like a good fall transition into winter. I also feel like this would be a good transition into winter because it is set in winter, but for some reason horrors still feel autumnal to me, so I think this would also be a good one. So yeah, I think Daisy Darker or Moon of the Crusted Snow. Is there a new release you're still waiting for? No, I think everything that I'm like looking forward to is pretty much coming out in January or later. So I think all the releases I've been kind of anticipating have already come out, which has been great. I think October and September and August were like big months for releases for me. What are 3 books you want to read before the end of the year? Well, if I had to narrow down to 3 of these books, I think I'd go with, it's gonna technically be 4, but I'm counting these 2 as 1. So I think these, because I'm always looking forward to these. They feel very cozy and like coming home when I read these now. It's like a comfort series to me. And then I think these 2, because I really truly believe they're going to be 5 stars and that I'm going to love them. So, and I guess if I was picking another one, because if I'm not sticking to 3 already, might as well also House of Hunger, because I also think this could be a 5-star for me. Is there a book you think could still shock you and become your new favorite book of the year? Well, okay. So I don't know for sure if I'll get to this year, but if I do, I really think it could be a new favorite. And also, it would be a little shocking because it's not something that I would, sorry, I'm distracted today. So I think it's just not one that I would pick up normally, but because of the hype and just the subject of this fantasy, I really just need to know, and I think I could really love it because I've only heard good reviews. This is Babel by R.F. Kuang, and it's a like conversation about colonialism and just how terrible it is and what it's done to countries that have been colonized. And it has a lot to do with language and translation and how language like means so much and affects so much, and translation has to do with how the magic works in this world. And I think that's so interesting. I have studied languages in high school and college, and I really love language and learning how it works, so that also really intrigues me. And it's set in 1828, so it's also historical fantasy, so I feel like that's also intriguing to me. It's set in Oxford. It's got dark academia vibes, but like a critique on dark academia in a way too. So I just really think that this, I don't know if I could say could shock me because I already feel like I am going to like it, but I just definitely think this could be a new favorite that's out of my comfort zone. The last question is, have you already started making reading plans for next year? I would say I haven't made really a ton of video ideas or something like that. I have been thinking about what I want the channel to be and like what kind of things I want to create and how I can make it feel more like my own. After a year of making videos, I've kind of been able to figure out what I like and don't like, and so how I can bring that into make videos that feel the most like me going forward. So that's really what I've been thinking about a lot, and I'll probably make a video discussing my plans, so stay tuned. So yeah, those are all the things I have. Let's stack them up here. I read anywhere from 8 to my highest has been 15, but I would say I average like 8 to 10 books in a month. And I have 15 books, and I'm halfway through November, so I think I could do it. Will all of these get read? Absolutely not. Just knowing myself and how many TBRs I've actually completed, that would be 0. So, you know, they're not all gonna get read. And there's definitely ones from my fall TBR that I still didn't get to, but I'm not prioritizing anymore, like Stephen King's Fairy Tale. I could do it, but I just know that there'll be stuff I mood read in here that are, and I have books on for these 2 videos that are not listed here, so that's even more. So yeah, no, it's not gonna happen, but I'm hopeful. I'm still delusionally optimistic. So if you want to leave a comment down below and let me know maybe what books you're planning to get to the end of the year, if you have any reading goals or things like that, if you'd love to share them, I really do love talking books down in the comments and just in these videos, so I would always appreciate a comment. And if you haven't subscribed, if you'd like to subscribe, I'd really appreciate it, and I will see you next time.